Story 1: The Neighbor Across the Street. I moved into my new apartment 2 weeks ago. It's a small place on the 5th floor, nothing fancy, just what I could afford. The best part? Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the street. I like people watching, especially late at night. Helps me fall asleep. Across the road, directly facing me, there's another building. And in one of the windows, 5th floor too, there's someone always standing there at night. I noticed him the second night, just standing still in the dark, no lights on, just a silhouette outlined by the faint glow of the city. He never moved. I figured maybe it was a statue, a mannequin, something weird like that. But then on the third night, he turned his head. Not much, just a slow tilt like he was listening, and I swear, I saw him facing me. I laughed it off at first, told myself I was just tired seeing things. I stopped looking at that window for a few days. Closed the blinds at night, even though I liked falling asleep with the lights of the city in view. But last night, curiosity got the better of me. I peeked, he was still there, except this time the window was open. I could see more of him now, tall, slender, wearing something black loose. He wasn't just standing anymore, he was leaning slightly forward, like he was trying to get a better look at me too. That's when something really messed up happened. My phone buzzed, unknown number, just one word in the message, look. I dropped the phone immediately and ran to the window. He was gone. The window was still open, but he was no longer there. I stood there for maybe 10 seconds. Then I turned to leave the room and stopped. The reflection in the glass still showed him standing there, right in the opposite building. But when I looked back at the window itself, it was empty. I turned to the reflection again, still there. And then the reflection moved, tilted its head, lifted its hand, waved at me. I don't know what I saw. I don't know if this is something supernatural or if I'm just losing my mind. But tonight, the blinds stay shut. I don't care if I sweat to death in this heat. And if you ever move to a building like this, don't look across the street after midnight. Just don't. Because sometimes what you see sees you back. Story 2: Apartment 4B. I moved into this building because it was quiet. That's all I wanted, some peace after a messy breakup and a job I hated. Top floor, decent view, friendly landlord. The place even smelled clean. Everything was fine except for apartment 4B. It's right next to mine. The door's always closed. No name on the mailbox. No lights, no sounds. I figured it was empty. Vacant. Maybe for sale. But on my second night, I heard crying. It was faint, like someone sobbing through a pillow. I paused in the hallway, listening, and realized the sound was coming from 4B. It stopped as soon as I got closer. Weird, right? I chalked it up to thin walls or my imagination. I didn't think much of it until it happened again. And again, always late at night, always from 4B. Sometimes it was crying, other times humming or soft footsteps. Once I heard someone whispering, but I couldn't make out the words. It never lasted long, but it always started around 2 a.m. I finally asked the landlord about it. He looked confused and said, 4B has been empty for over a year. I keep the keys. Why? I didn't know how to respond. I didn't want to sound crazy, so I just nodded and said, oh, must have been the pipes or something. That night, I left my phone recording by the wall. The next morning, I played it back. At exactly 2:17 a.m., a voice, low, breathy, said, let me in. I stopped the recording and stared at the wall. That afternoon, I slid a note under the door of 4B. Just a few words, who are you? The note was gone by the next morning. No reply, just gone. That same day I got home to find a second note tucked under my door. In shaky, childlike handwriting it said, don't ask again. Now I was really freaked out. I told myself it had to be a prank, that someone else in the building was messing with me. So I did what any normal person would do. I tried to open the door. Locked, of course. But the handle was warm, like someone had just been on the other side. Later that week, I was walking up the stairs when I noticed something under my door. A cassette tape, no label, just the number 4 written in red marker. I didn't even own a tape player. I had to borrow one from a thrift store across town. When I finally played it, I almost dropped the thing. It was me, my voice. Reading the note I left, who are you? But I never said it out loud. I wrote it, and then the tape kept playing. A faint voice responded, you already know me. We were neighbors before. I haven't slept since. Now I leave my apartment light on at night. I keep a chair wedged under the doorknob. And last night, the crying started again. But this time it wasn't from 4B. It was from inside my apartment. Story 3, The Neighbor Who Doesn't Blink. I've always hated sleeping with the blinds open, but this apartment, my first one alone, has such a beautiful view that I made an exception. Big mistake. It started my third night here. I was brushing my teeth before bed and casually looked out the window. Directly across from me, same floor, was another window. And someone was standing in it. A woman, middle-aged maybe, pale skin, black sweater. Her window was dark behind her, no lights on. Just her bathed in the blue glow of the moonlight, looking directly at me. I waved. She didn't move, didn't flinch, didn't blink. I laughed nervously, told myself it was nothing. Maybe she was zoning out. Maybe she couldn't even see me from that far. I turned off the lights and went to bed. The next night, same thing. Same woman, same position, same cold stare, still not blinking. I stared back longer this time, trying to catch even a twitch. Nothing. Her eyes didn't move. Her chest didn't rise. She looked frozen, but somehow still there. I even took a picture on my phone. When I zoomed in, it was blurry, but she was definitely looking right at me. I started closing my blinds after that. I told myself it was just some weird neighbor, probably harmless, just awkward. Then, a few nights later, I woke up at 3:14 a.m. No sound, no reason. I just opened my eyes and the blinds were up. I never leave them up. I sleepwalk sometimes, but I've never opened the blinds in my sleep. Still, I looked across. She was there, closer now. Her face nearly pressed to the glass. Mouth slightly open. Eyes wide. Still, not blinking. I dropped to the floor, heart racing. Crawled away from the window like a terrified kid. That morning, I called the building manager. "There's a woman across from me who's been watching," I said. "Can you check in on her?" He paused, then asked which unit I was talking about. I described the window's location. Another pause. "That apartment's been empty for 3 years," he said. "No one's lived there since the fire." I didn't ask for details, I just hung up. That night, I didn't even go near the window, but I could feel her, like her gaze was burning through the wall. Eventually, I taped a blanket over the glass. That helped for a few nights, until I noticed something. The blanket had moved. It was bunched slightly to one side, just enough to leave a narrow gap, and behind that gap, 2 pale eyes. Watching. Still. Unblinking. I don't live there anymore. But every so often, I check the street on Google Maps. And in one of the photos, on the 5th floor, across from my old apartment, she's still there. Looking right at the camera, still not blinking.